Hey everybody, it's Mama M of the Pagan Mama and MamaMsWorld.com. I am here for Medium Mondays. This is, I think, the third installment of Medium Mondays. And today we're talking about what if your kids can sense or speak to spirits. What do you do? How do you help them shield themselves? How do you help them identify what's going on and process that kind of information? There's a lot of different ways, but let me tell you about my personal experiences. All kids have stuff that they're scared of. If they are scared of something that you can't see and they haven't watched movies or TV shows or anything that you feel has led them to feel that way, it's quite possible that they are seeing something otherworldly and that it's frightening because it's scary enough as a kid, but if your parent doesn't see the thing that you're afraid of, it'll really freak you out. So, a couple different ways you can help your kids with that. One of the classic ways is monster spray. Now we know that the possibility of this being any kind of negative being are slim to none, and we don't want to classify spirits as monsters, so you could use anything, scaries go away, whatever term you come up with. Get an air freshener can or some kind of old hairspray or whatever it may be. Put your label on it and classify that as your scary spray. So the kids can go around the house, they can spray everywhere that they feel is scary before they go to bed. And, mind over matter, you are letting them know that they took control of their own situation and they got rid of the scary stuff. Number 2, you can teach your child to surround themselves in white light. And I've talked about this before in videos on my own YouTube page, so you can go back and reference that more. But the easiest way to teach, especially a small child, to surround themselves in white light for protection would be to have them envision blowing a bubble. Blow it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until it encapsulates their entire body. And then make the bubble as bright and as white as possible. And then let them know that that bubble is going to stay around them and act like a force field until they wake up in the morning, and it will only pop when they're ready for it to pop. Those are some really easy ways to help with teaching them about shielding themselves. And then as they get older, you can kind of use age-appropriate techniques to explain what may or may not be happening to them and kind of dig deeper into that. As far as trusting what your kids say, if they tell you that they saw a person or they talked to someone or they have an imaginary friend, it's kind of hit and miss. Some kids lie. Some kids make up stories, and some kids really can see things. And I think that children are much more perceptive to the spirit world than adults because they haven't yet been told that that is all false, which we know that it is not. So, they haven't had their minds tampered with yet, and it makes them more susceptible to every kind of sensory perception when it comes to dealing with spirits because they haven't been talked out of it. So, listen, open up conversations, and allow them to tell you things, but let them know that if they don't see these things anymore, that's okay. It's not a big deal. If they do see things, you want them to come and talk to you about it, but don't get overly excited and make a big deal out of, oh my gosh, you can talk to ghosts, this is so awesome, because as they get older, if that kind of goes away, then they'll feel like you're disappointed. So it's a really fine line to walk. The best thing we can do for our kids in any situation is to listen and be open to what they say to us. So I have a almost 5-year-old and an almost 3-year-old, and both of them see and communicate with spirits on occasion. It's not an everyday thing. My daughter, when she was 2, used to every single night. She called it the ball. It was like an orb of light that lived in her room, and she said that it was a little boy, and he lived inside her light fixture on the ceiling. And every night before we went to bed, we had to tell the ball to let her sleep, that she could play in the morning. And if we didn't tell the ball that it was bedtime and address that exact issue, she would be up all night, and she would say the ball was bothering her. So while it wasn't a harmful spirit, it was kind of a nuisance, and we had to make sure every night we said, it's time for bed, no playing, everybody has to go to sleep, leave me alone until the morning. But it also gave her that confidence of taking control of her own situation. So it worked. My son, who is almost 3 now, has just started talking about things he can see. And he scared the bejesus out of my sister-in-law the other day because he pointed into the empty living room and said, "That guy's dead." And then proceeded to tell her a story about this man that he was apparently seeing in the living room. And, you know, this is normal for me. This is what my life has been like since probably I was 3 or 4 years old. But for people who are entering my world, it can get a little chaotic. And, you know, my kids say things because they're allowed to say those kind of things here. And, you know, it's not an everyday occurrence. Like I said, it's once in a while, but I encourage them to tell me about the things they see so I can know what I'm looking for. And in that same aspect, understand that if you are a medium and your kids also show signs of being a medium, what they see you may not see, and what you see they may not see. And we all see things in different ways. And, you know, like I said in I think the first installment of Medium Mondays, sometimes you see whole people, sometimes you see shadows, sometimes you see balls of light, sometimes you see nothing at all. You just hear things. So everybody has a different way of dealing with spirits, and one medium could see a whole lifetime of information, and a medium standing next to that person could see nothing at all. So lots of stuff to talk about. Questions, comments are always welcome, and ideas for next week's Medium Mondays. Please use any of the links on our YouTube page to submit them, or come through Facebook. And make sure you check out my website, my store, www.mamaemsworld.com. I'm adding all kinds of really cool new stuff today, including magic wand pins. And they're super awesome, if I may toot my own horn. So check them out, and I'll talk to you next week. See ya.